Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back once again. Friends, today's story, which is going to be explained, it's actually a father's story, whose passion and courage inspired his daughters. Richard's name took it from the ground to the sky. A person who lives with his family, lives in California, and is a guard, works at night. So he takes his daughters to tennis during the day, teaches that he actually has 5 daughters, out of which 3 were his stepdaughters and 2. It's his own. It's not like those 3. He loves less, he loves all equally. Gives value. Here we can know that his daughters want him to play tennis. Both became players as per their dad's advice. Believes everything and works hard. But now times have changed here. Hard work does not get the job done, but it takes you forward. We'll need money to go which. Richard doesn't have either of his. Shoots video of daughters and then shows them to a lot of coaches so that he could teach them and a proper can give training. But no one can do it without money. No one wants to do this work for free. Why would Richard serve here and so many others? Goes to people and promises everything. That he will gradually return their money. Will give, but no one listens to his words. Accepts and refuses. And now he has. There is no option left but myself. Apart from teaching her daughters, she has little. Mola knew about tennis because he has also been a player before. That is why he take them both to an old tennis court. Goes and cleans there himself and then asks them to play. Here's another one. It turns out that Richard and his wife in my time, but the same with them. There was a problem with pawn, and after which he had to give up my passion. But when his daughters were born, he dreamed that he will make someone or the other a tennis player. Tennis will remain more lucky for Serena and Venus. He is interested in me. That's why he decides that he can move forward beyond this poverty line. A successful person will grow and teach them. Will make it so that his daughters can live their lives. Don't have to live. Both girls play. His other daughters start their side. I was completing my tasks in which sitting in a corner and reading. Then some boys came and started teasing her, which Richard sees and goes to tell them that she is still very young. You shouldn't do this much. It's wrong, Richard, to talk politely in front of them. Does, but none of them care. If he didn't have to, he would have killed Richard instead. They beat him so that he falls down all this. His 2 daughters keep watching, but no one can do anything because because he was powerful. Richard also came back. He is in his car without saying anything. Daughters ask him, what if dad? He says nothing happened, but for some time. Then he tells them that you have one thing. I will definitely remember that I am with you. I am always there no matter what the problem. When I wanted to be a tennis player, so I didn't have a dad who was my best friend. I had a big weakness in motivation at that time. I was in dire need, and I was left alone, and that's why I lost. But you have to win no matter what when going home. Brandy sees Richard's injury and I tell you a lot not to do this. I wanted that boy if he is strong enough. Richard says, I didn't do anything. He himself molested our daughter. When we started, Brandy says that today the neighbor was telling me that you are forcing your daughters to play tennis. Let them read. Maybe we should leave this game. We should pay. This is also very expensive for us. If you don't have that much capacity, then Richard is very good. Good thing he says that after a few days this hard work and passion will help us achieve all that, which we never even dreamed of. So be encouraged and give me everything with me. Brandy Mon, if I am ready to do something. She goes and hugs him which, after Richard left for his duty, goes there and tennis named Virginia. Looks at the player, and it was that girl, which Richard dreamed of seeing for the first time. He wanted his daughters to be tennis players. Now he will take out some magazines here, and the numbers of some of the coaches are also there. Sees, and then goes to meet them. But like every time he gets rejection, any coach gets free for his daughter. I don't want to train them. What is needed is not talent, but money. That's why Richard gets frustrated and there was simply no hearing from either side, and due to this reason, there is a crack in his courage now. He had started dreaming about his daughters. Richard appeared to be breaking down. He doesn't lose courage. He definitely does something. Will do. In the meantime, he goes to that court where he had found those boys. Today and he would see Richard alone. Seeing him, they attack him. Now they too. He is alone. That's why he is also on them. Fights back. But those boys are stronger and he was young. That's why he kills Richard, and now they even scare him with guns. After leaving, Richard was very He gets very angry and goes to his comes with service revolver and follows them. Looks like they were all there at once and goes there to kill them, but before some people come there and they now let's shoot all the boys and run away. Richard was very scared after seeing this scene. Goes and from there immediately emerges a narrow lane. When he reaches home, he hugs Brandy. Goes, but he doesn't tell her anything. Instead, he forgets everything and moves ahead now. The next day, he went to a coach named Paul, who is a very famous tennis coach now. Those who come in the way of Selena. Like many houses, his dad says that you will have to work hard to build the walls of this house, but only then to put your own nameplate. There's no chance you'll get this house. Used to motivate both his daughters. Well, now he goes to Paul to do, where Richard explains to them that his daughters are very good players. If he wants, he can give them coaching. But it will cost money, which the past doesn't exist yet, but Richard will gradually repay their money. But Paul still refuses, so he says it's okay, but once you take the test and see, he thinks for a while and then calls both of them down and both of them play together in the court, due to which, after some time, he goes to both of them and asks, why do they have to play tennis after all? Venice says when to conquer London. Sarah says that no matter how, want to become the world's #1 player here. Paul tells Richard that I both. No, I would rather just coach Venus. Agrees, and Serena also for her sister. Very happy because they just, to be successful was to make my dad proud. No matter who says this when they go home. When someone knows that he is jealous, he cries. Looks like they found something, and here she gets a hug from Richard. It was feeling good, but somewhere. They were also afraid that both there should be no rift between sisters, but doesn't happen when both practice. Serena goes to Venus the next day. Explains that she has to work hard. Because for this day our dad has sacrificed so much. He has worked hard. She motivates him, and then Serena went to practice with her mom. As if you already know that she also used to be a good tennis player. Their Venice comes to Paul, and now both of them practice diligently. Richard would just sit there and watch the winners' lives and records his videos, so that what mistakes he makes in future, he can learn from them and tell them slowly. Time starts passing by Venus. Seeing that the game was getting better, Richard, he was happy in many games because of Paul. Also participates, and one such time she goes to the Junior Cup with him. The entire family was present as soon as the game started. Sometimes Richard turns back. I also don't like the games of my 2 daughters. I used to watch, but just listen to the sound of the ball. Stays here and puts in all her strength. And that game also wins, and many. She is happy and plays many such games. Lives, and everyone lives seeing this. Richard feels very proud now. The turn when people come out after winning the game. If you had been there, you would have made fun of that girl who was defeated by Venus, and this thing. Richard doesn't like, that's why the family. But he explains to everyone that we should respect our opponent. It never matters whether he wins or loses. Don't be proud that you beat him. Who knows what he will do in the upcoming matches. Defeat you so anything can happen. Never forget where you came from and how far do you have to go here, friends. Richard was a down-to-earth person. That's why they knew the truth for a few days. Keep practicing, and one more time. Richard both in court in the rain, who gets practiced by his neighbor. She sees it and calls the police. He feels that he is above his daughters, is torturing them by pressurizing them. And because of this, the police also came to his house. When they arrive, Richard explains to them that, you can ask any of my daughters. I have not forced myself to do anything. He dreamed of becoming a tennis player, and I'm just helping them police that. She would leave from there after listening to the things. But still her neighbor tells her that if he ever harasses his video again, if you do this, then the police will be called again. A day later, there is a match in Venice where he was going to play in front of a lot of people. Serena also takes part in that match without. Richard was told when a man came to him, says your little daughter is quite nice. Now he goes to the back court to play. So it is seen that Serena is both his daughters are playing well. Winning trophies brings gold. Wins and Serena gets silver. But in both, there is no conflict, but now they exchange it with each other. At home, Richard watches the news on TV, where it is shown how something white people are discriminating against black people. They are beating them, all this. He feels very bad seeing this, but he lives quietly because his daughters are there. Now one day she was sitting with Vanas. Paul goes there for the match with some people, brings and tells them that this is Richard. He is Vanas's dad. Both his daughters are plays well. He tells Richard, "These people want to sponsor you, sir. The money problems you have. Now this thing will go away." Richard is very worried about this. It would feel bad that people would help them by thinking that he is poor and not that he has talent, which is from his own country, will make a name for themselves, so Richard tells them that he will think and tell. After this, he will win. Where they go near the school, sitting and eating something that was free. But when Richard sees this, he scolds a lot and says that in his life, never take anything for free. Always remember this. Many days will pass now. But Richard has yet to respond to Paul. He didn't give it. That's why he came to meet him himself. Goes to her house, where he meets her again. He asks about the sponsor there. Brandy was also present, so Richard says that both my daughters play very well, but I don't want them to have any. So please sponsor, because we don't have money. That's why I made that offer. Richard was rejected somewhere. It also seems that Paul also had something to do with all this. He wants to earn money, so he spends it all. Gives money and says that from today onwards, he will win. Now, after a few days, he named Rick. Contact the coach of both. Agrees to give training, but they also asked to sign a contract, in which it was written that she was of Venus and Sana. Will take care of the education of both of them. Will also provide a house to live in and also coaching also. But whatever you earn, you will earn it. Now they will have a share in 15% of the winnings. Richard doesn't like it, so he says, "You have all my daughters. We all have to take care of education. We'll have to think for a while now to take us to Florida." After that, he would agree and the deal would be done, due to which everyone becomes happy, and these people go to Florida and go there. These people look at Rick's institute, which was very nice and big with. The house that is given to them is also enough. It was good to let Richard know about this here. Worried that if both of them go to school, if they apply, their practice will be reduced. But Rick assures him that something like that, he will not live up to his promise. And she also improvises a lot, and because of this, he started winning games again. Let him get that fame in a few days. Goes after which he also has interviews, in which he is said to be a junior. The tournament must be played, and that can go ahead. But Richard told her that's why he was forbidden to play this game. She refuses, but when this comes to Rick's attention, when he finds out, he talks to Serena, who says, "You have to talk to my dad." They will go to meet him, and we could convince them somehow. But the very next day, Richard saw in the news that Rick, a student, has been found in an intoxicated state, and he was arrested. That's why Rick immediately refuses to play junior tournament. He doesn't want his daughter to have money when, if he gets fame, he will also start doing the same. That's why Rick got angry at him and left. When Vanas comes to know about this, then she also gets disappointed. Brandy and Richard. An argument also starts between them. She says, "Your daughters are now grown up. They know right and wrong. You know their decisions should no longer be taken on one's own." And Richard realizes that his wife is right. That's why she sleeps at night. Goes to meet Vince and he asks if she wants to play this match. She says, if I am ready, then I will definitely play. We'll play, but Richard is interested in something else. I was afraid. He explained it to her very carefully, that this is a period where some people, white people, are watching everything we do, looking for a chance to show us Nisha, and I don't want you to do anything like that. Do so that our entire community, he has to suffer, and we have to be ashamed. So Venus tells them that I promise, I will never do anything that will. He starts crying when he hears that you are in pain, and both father and daughter embrace. The next day, when the news spreads that Venus, if you are going to play junior championship, then only that. At night, a member of Reebok company comes to them and offers them $1 million and says, "We want to sponsor you. But here are some of Venus and Richard's. There are other plans," and he is not happy with this. They were going to happen, that's why they refuse. And they say that if we play well and if we win the game, then we will get a bigger sponsor than this. Venus will have full confidence in herself. But friends, when the match starts, she stumbles and Richard sees this and tells you about sponges. Don't think you have to play that game. You have learned what was after that. Each one starts winning all the rounds by doing, and also wins that game, after which, again, he gets a letter from Reebok. This time they were giving more money, but Richard again refuses to make it to the finals. Rick says, that number in the final of Junior Championship. There is one player, and to defeat that player. It's not that easy, but Richard is sure. He thought that his daughter would do this, and that's why. He also refuses. That's what we see. That Serena stands sad beside him. Richard arrives and explains what happened. You are not able to perform well because of this. Nothing happens, you have to believe in yourself. Will be seen one day, very good player. You will be there the next day, just have a little patience. The final match is held in front of a crowd of thousands. People came here to see him. It was the first opportunity for Venus to prove herself, to let everyone know that black people, that first round can do a lot too. She plays very well and leads well too. Takes. But when there is a break in between. So his momentum would have been broken in that very break. And she slowly starts losing. Then comes a time when that final match. Now here she loses all faith in herself. That's not how she lost. She lies down and starts crying, and to meet him. His parents come and explain to him that, you have played very well, many such. You will get opportunities, don't give up so soon. Believe it or not, and the player you have played with. She was the #1 player in the world. Those people are a big deal for you. When they start going out of the house in despair. When the gate opens, there is a crowd of thousands. Was waiting for Venus, even if she lost. She went, but people liked her way of playing. I liked it very much. That's why all his. Take autograph and click photo with him. Venus gets encouraged by all this. And then there comes someone who makes them. Tells that many companies with Venus want to ship sponges, after which we. Let's see Reebok this time. Venus 15 has given sponsorship of $1 million, which she also accepts, and some of it. Years later, when Venus grew up, she Bar Veldon Cup won, while Serena won 23. Won the Grand Slam Cup both times. The sisters together have made great achievements in the history of tennis. Made all such records which even today no one has. They haven't broken it. They tell everyone this. Given that a person's identity is determined by his religion. Not by color, but by one's skill. And today, the whole world is celebrating both the sisters with the same. Well, she knows your story because of her skill. Please tell me how you liked it by commenting below. See you in the next video. Peace out.